Hi everyone. So this week is our third week of Advent. So this week at church, the pink candle will be lit, and the pink candle stands for joy. And that is the joy that was felt by the shepherds when they were told that the Messiah had been born. So I looked up some different things about joy, and I found an article, and I thought that this was really interesting. Supposedly there was a song about an acronym of joy, and the J stands for Jesus, the O stands for others, and the Y is for you. And this would be the definition of joy. And by putting yourself last and Jesus first with others in between, it brings real joy. So I found that, very wonderful. And we definitely should always put Jesus first, and then others, and then ourselves. So I wanted to, for this week, do something a little bit different. So first, I'd like you to think about the different things throughout the Christmas and Advent season that you and your families do to bring joy to others. And then also, what do you do as a family to bring joy to each other? So if you want to put that in the comments, if you want to record a video, whatever you want to do, just tell me and share with our class some things that you do to bring joy to others during this wonderful Advent season. Even if you weren't able to do it this year because things were a little bit different, what have you done in the past years? What do you plan to do in the future? Some of the things that we like to do in our family is we always like to adopt a family and buy them Christmas presents. We like to do some different giving and almost be a secret Santa to certain people and bring them some joy throughout the holiday season. So I would really like it if your entire family would sit down for the next part of this lesson and listen to a book that I'm going to read. My husband and I, we visited Asheville a couple years ago, and we visited an old church there, and the priest, his sermon was actually this book, and he said he always starts every Advent season by reading this book, and this story really touched my husband and I, and we bought the book, and we now have it in our collection of books at home, and we plan to read it every year at the beginning of Advent. So this book is called A Walk One Winter Night by Al Andrews, and I bought it on Amazon in case anybody else wants to purchase it. It seems that every year it gets worse. More obligatory parties, irritated drivers, and panicky shoppers. Long lines everywhere. I remember a time when I was more expectant, when the reason for all of this celebrating meant everything to me. But sadly, this night, my internal monologue was, let's just get this thing over and get back to normal. Frankly, my cynicism troubled me, and when I am troubled, I take a walk. Even if it's near midnight, even if it's cold, even if there are still things to be done. The hour was late and a light rain was falling. Stray flakes of snow twirled and mingled in. From windows and trees, the lights of the season sparkled through the heavy mist like stars aching to beam brightly on this dreary, dark night. Turning up my collar, I pulled my jacket tighter. That kind of cold finds its way through most any opening. As I walked, I saw them out of the corner of my eye. Mary, Joseph, the baby Jesus, displayed in a wooden stable in someone's front yard. The usual characters were assembled as well: shepherds, sheep, a camel, and the wise men 3. On the stable's roof, a precariously perched angel looked on and was tilting slightly to the left. All of them were illuminated by 2 bright floodlights shining from the grass in front of them. I almost passed them by. They were easy to miss as I've grown accustomed to their presence. They are, after all, available everywhere in all sizes: ornament size, mantle size, coffee table size, and yard size. They come in a box, easy to assemble. But that night, and I'm not sure why, something caused me to turn my head, inviting me to linger. I stopped to look at them for a while, as one would stand in front of a remembrance painting in a museum. I must admit it felt somewhat odd and awkward. After all, grown-ups don't pause and stare at yard nativity scenes, but for some reason, that night, that moment, I felt I should be there. To witness something, to see. I folded my arms and I looked, obedient to this mysterious nudge. She wore blue. Mary always wears blue, a neatly pressed, clean blue garment. her face, porcelain and untouchable, had a fixed expression, pleasant and peaceful. With her fragile hands folded in prayer, she gazed down adoringly at her child. She was perfect, this Mary, pristine, with moisture glistening on her smooth ceramic shawl. Joseph wore brown. Joseph always wears brown. Brown is a fitting color for a character relegated to the background, for someone who never gets top billing. His eyes appeared vacant, and his beard was neatly trimmed. He was there, as he always is, on the edge. He can't seem to find his place. Everyone else has something distinctive, wings, crowns, gifts, halos, a shepherd's crook, but all he has is brown. Then there was the baby Jesus, his tiny arms extended. The star attraction, a halo encircled his little head, reaching from ear to ear. A clean white fabric wrapped around him. Swaddled, I suppose, is the appropriate Christmas word to use. He smiled an unearthly smile. He's always happy, this manger Jesus. It looked like he'd never slept and never cried. It didn't appear that he wanted to be held, nursed, or cuddled either. I won't take the time to describe the others, but you know them well. You probably even know where each is positioned in the stable. The shepherd goes there, the camels and sheep over there, the wise men there, there, and there. I imagine you too are accustomed to their presence. I remained standing, trying to stay warm. Looking at them through the gauzy mist, I pondered. I simply couldn't relate to them in any way. They seemed remote and untouchable, just like this season had become for me. With considerable guilt, I wondered, why don't I like these people? After this abrupt and irrelevant thought came to me, I half expected the ground underneath to open up and swallow me whole, or a bolt of lightning to descend with a flash and a snap, leaving a little pile of smoldering ashes that used to be me. I closed my eyes and waited for the end. Thankfully, neither the heavens nor the ground opened, so I continued my gaze. And then something happened, something I frankly don't expect you to believe. I heard a noise coming from Mary's direction. It startled me. "Who's that?" I said. Though her figure didn't move, a soft voice pleaded. "This is not me," she cried. "This is not real," and her voice broke. "Please listen to me. My garment, it isn't this clean, and it's not this brilliant shade of blue. It's a blue faded by the dust of a long journey to Bethlehem. It smells of my sweat and of the mule whose back I rode upon. My blue is stained with red, the blood of birth. It's soiled by the dung of the stable floor, and my face, my real face, is blemished. I am a teenage girl. My brow is furrowed from worry about this baby, about tomorrow. What will Herod do? Will he find us? And my eyes are red from tears of pain. I am so lonely and afraid. This is my first baby, and my mother is not here with me. This is not who I am," she said again. "I am real. Please let me be real," and her voice trailed off. Her words, both gentle and moving, reached inside of me so deeply I could barely breathe, and while I was catching my breath, I heard a deeper voice. "You were wrong about me." It was coming from Joseph's direction. "This is not me. This is not real. Please listen to me," he said firmly. I started to take a step backwards, but his voice riveted me in place. "Listen," he repeated. "Really listen. I am not the quiet, simple character you make me out to be. My eyes are not vacant. Hours ago, they were full of fire when I grabbed the innkeeper's tunic with a tight grip and said, 'Don't you tell me that there is not some room somewhere,' and he found a place for us. I am a man with a purpose, to travel where I was told to go and to lead my family safely there, and we made it. Now that we are here, I am still on guard, for we are in danger." Joseph continued, "Yes, I wear brown, but it is for stealth. I blend in with my surroundings, and from my vantage point, my eyes scan every opening in this place for anyone who is out to do us harm, and no one will get by me. Let them try. I am the keeper of this light, and I will keep him safe. You were wrong about me. This is not who I am. I am real. Please let me be real." His words soaked into me like the evening's mist. I felt admonished and awakened to something that was true. And then I heard a cry. I looked at Jesus in the wooden manger. He was thrashing about in the hay. He had soiled himself, and he looked uncomfortable. His cloth was twisted in his arms and legs. He grimaced from the prickly straw. His face was red, and his cry grew louder, the cry of a hungry infant. His toothless mouth opened, and he arched his back. He cried so hard that he ran out of breath, and for a moment it was quiet. but I knew it was the quiet before he drew another breath, and then he wailed so loudly I expected the lights in the nearby house to turn on and the neighbors to come running out. I wonder if he too would speak, but he didn't need to. Somehow his words were in me, and I spoke for him. This is not me. This is not real. Please listen to me. The reason I came, the reason I was sent, was to be real, to feel everything you felt, to know everything you need, because I needed it too. To hurt like you've hurt, laugh like you've laughed, skin my knee like you've skinned your knee, and have my heart broken like your heart has been broken. I came so that one day, or one winter night, when you come face to face with your defeat, your moment of absolute need, you can come to me and say, you know this too, lead me through it, and I will. This is not me. I am real. Please let me be real. Then there was silence, a long stillness that hushed the wind and pushed away the noises of the night. In the quiet, I was being given room to feel and consider what I'd just seen and heard. And out of the silence, the truth appeared like stars revealed by parting clouds. Maybe the figures before me weren't real because I had made them that way, so they would be predictable and safe, easy to ignore and box up after Christmas, out of sight and out of mind. Maybe if Jesus wasn't real, he would be tame and small. Maybe I had rendered him untouchable because I was afraid of his touch. I'm sorry, I said. I know this isn't you. I can see it now. You're not who I've seen you to be, untouchable, perfect, something I made rather than someone who made me. You are real. You are true. You are here. I am sorry, I said again as my eyes brimmed with tears. The sorrow nudged me to kneel next to a shepherd on the wet grass in front of something so real, so very real, I couldn't even begin to comprehend it. As I knelt, I became a part of the story, and the story became a part of me, and I felt his gentle pardon. Suddenly, everything expanded. This scene, this night, my heart, and I felt real. I stood and remained there a while, quietly looking at them as they gazed back at me, and I realized something. I liked these people now, and I think they liked me. Shivering, I wondered if Jesus was cold too, so I laid my scarf over his hands and his feet, the same hands and feet I would one day see again. I tucked him in as best I could. Good night, I said to him. Sleep well, you've traveled far. I stayed beside him for a few minutes, just as I once stayed beside my own newborn sons as they drifted into sleep. Then a low, regal voice came from one of the wise men. He whispered as if he was aware that Jesus was sleeping. We like you. We're drawn to this place and have journeyed far to come here to see what you have seen. And what you have seen is what this world has been waiting for. And from a shepherd standing behind Joseph, I heard another quiet voice. Once you hear the angels sing, you will never be the same. If you listen carefully, they're always singing. And then there was quiet. No more voices, no more movement, no more surprises. I sensed it was time to go. I started the walk back to my house. The cold wind and a few flakes of snow urged me along. My pace was slow and thoughtful. This walk had become a journey I didn't want to end. Something had returned to me, and I yearned for it to remain. When I reached the corner of the street, I thought I heard singing and turned for one last look. In the distance, I saw a warm glow coming from a small wooden stable in a yard down the street, sheltering something inside that was older than the stars and bigger than our whole wide world. And it was real. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story. So, like I said, if you want to buy this book, it's on Amazon. It's a wonderful book to add to your Christmas book collection. And again, please share what you and your family do to bring joy throughout the Advent season. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. This is the last time I will be logging in before Christmas happens. I hope you have a wonderful, safe, and happy Christmas and have a wonderful new year. And I hope that we get to see you very soon in the new year. I love you all, and God bless.